Well, Sunday, June 5, was a gloomy day in Nigeria as many people were killed in a Catholic church in Ondo State in a terrorist attack. The country was thrown into deep pain as worshippers were left lifeless in that gruesome incident while many got injured. The attack in Owo is yet another security setback as Nigeria looks to solve its fast-spreading and deepening stories of terrorism. While the country is immersed in politics ahead of the APC Presidential Primary, which has begun today, concerns are being raised about the safety of the citizens. Victims of the Kaduna train attack are still in the den of their abductors. Terrorism and kidnapping have become normal and common, but there are also political issues waiting to be sorted, especially in the ruling party. Welcome to The Square. I'm Sulaiman. The APC convention has commenced today in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, as the ruling party decides its next presidential candidate, since the incumbent President Buhari will not be running, having done his true term. On Saturday, northern governors of the APC agreed to support a southern candidate as the flag bearer of the party. This, however, is not a party-wide decision, as there are still northern contestants aspiring to be candidate of the APC. The APC aspirants for the presidential primaries are Bola Tinubu, Yemi Osinbajo, Kayode Fayemi, Rotimi Amechi, Ibikunle Amosun, as well as others. Will the APC settle for a southern candidacy at the end of its primaries? And who will emerge as presidential flag bearer? There's the difficult issue of insecurity in Nigeria to contend with by any of these aspirants, and the recent incidents in Ondo State, Kwara State, and Abuja throw more light onto Nigeria's current travails. Osinbajo, Fayemi, and Tinubu have all made trips to Owo today to pay their condolences. Chijioke, a member of the All Progressives Congress, and of course retired DIG Chijioke Nwobodo, who is a fellow of the National Defense College, joined me on the square today. Well, gentlemen, thanks for your time and thanks for joining us. Quickly, let's start with you, DIG Nwobodo. I know, it's one of the key issues you've always spoken about when you give some form of security tips and advice to Nigerians. Let us in on first your feelings when you had that very unfortunate incident in Ondo State. Well, it doesn't look like we have DIG Nwobodo online, and of course, while we await getting DIG Nwobodo and George AK, we should be able to let you in on some of the key concerns that have been raised concerning political happenings in Nigeria. At the moment, the All Progressives Congress is gearing up for its primary, which is already set. And, there's been back and forth on whether or not the northern governors have actually, acceded to the demand of the southern part of the country to move the candidacy of its flag bearer to that part of the country. Back and forth we've seen, and of course, just before now, the party chairman, who is former Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Adamu, has said that Nigeria's Senate President Ahmed Lawan will be the consensus candidate. Just as that happened, some key contestants like the governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, were seen to have stormed out of that meeting. And again, now another release from the group is saying, from the party, is saying that President Buhari has no hand in any talk of having a consensus candidate. And now with the denial going back and forth, it looks like the APC is not too set, but they look set, but not too set, as these bickerings and up and down really going on within the political party. But by and large, Nigerians are waiting to see what the APC will do. Keep in mind that already the biggest opposition in Nigeria, that's the People's Democratic Party, already done and dusted with its primary election. And they have Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who is no neophyte in politics and who's not new in running a general election as its flag bearer. Will the APC be able to get its act together to get a formidable team that will take on the PDP as led by Atiku Abubakar, or will they buck into getting what some political members and watchers like the PDP member Kassim Afegwa, who's categorically said on the square, saying that the way it's going, it looks like Nigeria will be having a run of election in 2023 by the dynamics of what's at play in the 3Ks. Katsina, which is the home state of the president, and of course Kano State, where two formidable former governors of the state, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and of course Ibrahim Shekarau, have their own following. And according to Kassim, it will seem as if, also the Kaduna bloc, the Kano bloc, and the Katsina bloc may see the two big parties of the APC and the PDP having a depleted vote, as these will be splitted between these two political parties as well as the new political party, the NNPP. Keep in mind, some already are seeing the Labour Party's candidate, that is Peter Obi, who's the former governor of Anambra State in Nigeria's southeast, as the dark horse. What will play out in 2023? These are some of the key things that we'll be having to look at here on News Central. But again, in the mix of all of this, we'll stay put looking at what will come out of the APC as they move into the primaries. And the next hours will tell Nigerians and Africans that are watching what the ruling party will have up its sleeves. Again, some of the key things here, some are saying that some party members are really worried that first, the news about having a consensus candidate from northern Nigeria, then Ogawa, just the moment that some southern leaders were in Owo to commiserate with the people over the terror attack there, talking about former Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu and Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, both were in Owo to commiserate with the people of the state. Just as there were there news about a consensus candidate from northern Nigeria filtered into the political space in Nigeria. So we'll wait to see what talk we'll be having with the retired Deputy Inspector General of Police on the issue of security. Some already think this is deja vu, akin to what they saw leading up to the 2015 election, where there were, an upsurge in terror attacks and some security challenges at that point in time, and also what Nigerians also saw leading up to the 2011 election. Is this deja vu? There are suggestions that Sunday's attack was political, especially as it came in the hometown of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, who's the governor of Ondo State in southwest of Nigeria. Keep in mind, these are some of the conversations that we'll be having on the square when we come back. Well, good to have you back, and apologies for not being able to get DIG Nwobodo earlier on. There was some glitch in the connection, but again, good thing we have him now. Good to have you, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Chijioke Nwobodo. Thanks for your time, and thanks for being with us again. Let's quickly situate this. First, as a retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, how did you receive the news of the very unfortunate incident in Owo? Because some already said deja vu, just like the 2011 election, we saw an upsurge in such, crimes. It's too early in the day for some, again, to say if this is politically motivated, but by and large, how did you receive this very sad news?
The incident that took place in Owo is most unfortunate. It is indeed very sad, a very sad one for our country, and my heart goes to those who lost their loved ones. Well, we have been experiencing this insecurity for a while, but at least the state of bombing had reduced over time. One thing that we ought to know is that we need to really know those who are our citizens. We need to know those who are our citizens. The issue of citizenship needs to be taken seriously in this country. From studies and research, most of those who are involved in these Boko Haram activities and all this insecurity are, a number of them are foreigners. A number of them are foreigners from Cameroon, from Niger, from Chad. And one would have expected that in a situation like this, while we play the big brother in Africa, we need to take our security, our borders, very seriously. The issues of immigration, border security, they are very, very important. And it wouldn't have been the best time for us to go and announce to the world that everybody is free to come into Nigeria.
I'm happy. Sorry, let me jump in here. I'm happy you have actually talked about border security, because some other experts have also, raised concerns about those who are coming to Nigeria. And let's speak more about border security and talk more about how the people, we're talking about communities, how citizens and communities can help in, volunteering information. And is it possible for Nigeria to actually police its borders?
It is possible. It is possible for us to police. It is very, very possible. If we need to police our borders, we can police our borders. In the first instance, it is very wrong, in my view, that at facing existential threats, that we should throw our borders open and welcome everybody. There are many ways. We have the immigration service, who can actually do area surveillance and police very well our borders. But I think we are paying lip service to these issues. We are paying lip service. If we mean to police our borders, we can really police our borders. The Nigerian immigration has the wherewithal to do so, but I think there are a lot of other political issues, political undertones involved in this. Why should we open our borders just for people to move in the way they like? We have the immigration, the Nigerian army, the Nigerian police force, all our security apparatus. They can actually insert those people in our border communities. not necessarily, even in a covert operation, not even in overt operation, in a surveillance operation, to be able to police our borders without necessarily making it overt. They can mingle with the border communities, monitor what is happening, what is happening in our borders, and be able to advise on what we need to do.
I think what you're highlighting now, borders on intelligence that must be improved, especially in dealing with these situations. And I know, because of your fellow of the Nigeria Defense, College, then you should know that Nigeria is not in, want of experts. We already have the experts. So how can these people be deployed, retired, still serving? How can everyone be involved in solving this all-important issue of national security?
As I mentioned earlier on, we can in fact build our operatives among the border communities, within the border community, to gather intelligence, and of course pass on to those who are also involved in overt operations. The thing is, our borders are so porous, and we are.
Nwobodo, if you can hear me, I can hear you, and I'd like you to complete your train of thoughts there.
I'm not hearing you very well. I'm not hearing you clearly.
Well, there seemed to be a glitch in the connection to DIG Nwobodo. Well, we'll try to re-establish connection with the former Deputy Inspector General of Police. If you just joined us here on the Village Square Africa, we're looking at the developing story from southwest of Nigeria, specifically the very unfortunate church bombing in Owo town in Ondo State, where multiple persons were killed and a lot of others injured. At the moment, the condemnation from the political circle are still coming in from politicians, religious leaders, and every ordinary Nigerian. But the thing here is that it looks like almost every time that Nigeria is preparing for a general election, there seems to be an upsurge in such criminality. People are asking the question, is it a case of dropping the ball and talking politics, where Nigeria should be adequately protected? But again, there are intelligence reports saying the terrorists may have expanded into other parts of the country, and that is why DIG Nwobodo is saying specifically Nigeria must rise up to protect its borders, and he says it's possible. I don't know if you're back. If you're back, DIG Nwobodo, let's stretch this. What's the way forward to solving these security challenges apart from the border security, which you highlighted earlier?
We have to be sincere with ourselves. We cannot have. I want to be very, very frank that we can't have one ethnic group controlling all our security forces, all our security apparatus. If you take a look at those who are heading this security organizations, such as the immigration, the custom, the army, and the air force, and all whatnot, you discover that there's a preponderance of a particular ethnic group. Sometimes we should call a spade. The reason why we have a number, our country has so many ethnic groups, so many And none of so many ethnic groups, so many six geopolitical zones. Our security forces cannot be constituted in such a way and manner that all of them are headed by almost one ethnic group alone. I don't think it bodes well for security. And so, other than the leadership of these security forces, we also need the requisite training, the equipment, and the instrument that is needed. And we need to recalibrate the way we approach this thing so that we can achieve results. The Constitution is very clear. It's very clear. Nothing should be organized or constituted in any manner in this country for one group to have predominance over others. And I think that in itself is a serious security challenge in Nigeria.
Well, DIG Chijioke Nwobodo would like to thank you for your time, and we do hope to have you back again to talk about this. As you have just said, it is everybody's program, and Nigerians must wake up to call a spade and look deeply into the makeup of the security chiefs of agencies in the country and see how everyone can stand up and stem this before it consumes a beautiful nation. Thank you for your time, Chijioke Nwobodo, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police. Now, we're still here on the square, and we'll dig in deep and take this into the political space, just as we're looking at what's happening in Ondo State, specifically in Owo, in Nigeria's southwest region. We're also talking about politics, and many have said, even as the politicians have all trooped en masse to that part of the country, there seemed to be a whole lot happening within the political space. I have with me now Chijioke, who is a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, and someone who's always spoken up on issues on security and politics over the years. Chijioke, good to have you, and thanks for your time. Here we are again. This is 2022, and it looks like 2011.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, it doesn't look like Chijioke can hear me. We'll take a moment.
Hello, did you ask me a question? Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, then. I thought I lost you for a moment. These are challenging times for Nigerians, George, if you can hear me. And I did say, I recall years ago, leading up to the 2011 election, you and some other Nigerians also expressed concern about security. And here we are again, almost the eve of another election. This is 2022, looking at 2023 general election. It looks like deja vu, isn't it?
Yeah. When it comes to security, I have always said, I don't want to play to the gallery, that if the Nigerian government wants to rout out, these bandits, they are capable of doing that. They have done it in quite a number of places, outside Nigeria. Rather, when they did peacekeeping or peace maintenance or whatever it was, they have excelled. But it is actually shameful and quite embarrassing that a group of people that we thought were ragtag people, whether they occur in the south, in the northwest, or in the northeast, or even in the southeast, or wherever, and now in the southwest, and that they are unable to, route them out. And the key reason we keep hearing is that the people who have, what happened about yesterday or thereabouts, that they just finished operating and they disappeared. They couldn't have disappeared. I mean, the military, the way we know them, and the security, the way we know them, they dominate their environment. And if they dominate their environment, it cannot be said that they have gone to the hills, as happens probably in Kaduna and the Plateau area, or that they have disappeared into the forest. There is no forest that is not part of the topography of the Nigerian environment. and the forest cannot be on governed spaces. Take, for instance, for how many weeks now, or we are not counting months now, that the Kaduna trade issue happened. You know, the kidnapping in the Kaduna happened. And it cannot be said that those people are right here in Nigeria. They are probably in Kaduna State, and our security people are unable to find them and flush them out and probably deal with them. So I have always believed that the moment the security people want to do this, they will do that.
And I'm happy that you're almost on the same page with DIG, retired DIG Nwobodo. He said, well, it's doable. We can actually do that. But again, quickly here, before we dig into the APC primaries, what more do you think, well, is missing in facing or solving Nigeria's security challenge or challenges? Do you think that the headship of the agencies of security are always caught pants down?
So I'm not cutting you short. It has only two words: political will. And under that political will, we can talk about providing them with the necessary equipment that they need to work with and the necessary orders for them to do what is necessary. And the moment that is done, I mean, it is even, some of us feel embarrassed that, you know, some smaller West African countries are seeing to what extent, you know, they ragtag armies are keeping Nigerian soldiers on their feet. For how many years now? More than a decade, and we have not done anything that is decisive.
And they say, some say it has never been this bad in Nigeria, because for the first time, all regions of the country, Nigeria's southeast, Nigeria's southwest, Nigeria's northwest, Nigeria's northeast, every part of the region is enmeshed, engulfed in one security problem or the other. How can intelligence be improved in dealing with these situations, George?
So the intelligence community, you know, has a huge task before them. But again, you see, it is a stage. If you read books that have to do with failed nations, you'll find out that this is a stage that is going to snowball into small armies and warlords. Before you know what is happening, so the warlords have already started emerging in the north. In particular, forests are known to be you know, in custody of certain warlords and all of that. They run those places, collect taxes from farmers, appoint their flags such that the ungoverned places are now their empires, as it were. And the moment there is the verification of these warlords and these empires and these ungoverned places, then we can now begin to talk about the other stage of a failed state, where coercion is no longer the exclusive preserve of government or those in authorities. The coercive force is now being shared between government and, you know, ragtag armies.
Now, this dovetails into, you know, mainstream politics. Looking at what's happening at the moment in the APC, and perhaps some have said, for the first time, the agitation for a rotation presidency is never been this loud. But it looks as if your party, that should also have a fair understanding, especially now that security is a big issue across the polity, specifically looking at what's happening in Nigeria's southeast, and now getting into southwest, that there's never been a time as right as now for Nigeria to have a sudden president to actually bridge the gap and agitations. So how does this actually work with what we're seeing at the moment, looking at the APC primary?
I can tell you honestly that I'm unable to by, you know, can I say the turn of events, you know, when we talk about turn of events, at least what has happened in the past 24 hours, one of which is that the northern governors made and said that they are conceding, or at least that they would want the south, you know, to produce the president come to 2023. I'm unable to tie it to the security situations or the security the security disturbances, like I would say, or the insecurity itself. I think that is even a better way of putting it. The insecurity that is taking place, particularly in the Southeast. If, for instance, that conceding the presidency was meant for the Southeast, or that the governors came out and said, let us get somebody from Southeast extraction, to run for president for our party. Then we can begin to tie it to maybe they are looking at trying to quell the insecurity in the Southeast or whatever. But you see, the people we are playing pure politics, devoid of any security implication. You see, when the politician is doing his things, he probably does not even understand or will not take into cognizance quite a number of all of the issues that people like you that are journalists and that are watchdogs of the society are taking into cognizance. One of which will be the economy, the insecurity in the country, and what have you. But you see, this is all about power and power play. And I can tell you, for free, that situation that arose, whereby the northern governors now started to concede the presidency to the southern compatriots, as it were, is fraught with a lot of suspicion. I can tell you, in any case, you know me that I'm not particularly racist about other party or religion or whatever. I'm not a fanatic of any party or any religion. If I'm a fanatic of anything, it is I'm a fanatic to the development of the country. And you'll be surprised that I probably will even be thinking of another presidential candidate that has all the qualities and competencies that one will require to move this country forward. That is even outside my party. If, for instance, my party does not produce a good presidential material or a good candidate. In other words, what I'm thinking, what is at the foremost of, what is at the back of my mind will be, how does this country move forward? Really, it has to move forward outside the principles of my political party. Because I have found out in the past 20 years that I've been in politics that political parties are mere vehicles. They are just special purpose vehicles. That is why the fluidity of membership. You see somebody in PDP today, the next day you are seeing him in APC, he says an election or he first to secure a nomination in APC, he goes to another party and all of that. That is to show you that he is not in any way caged by any ideological underpinning of any party. So, in other words, put in another way, the people are simply playing, we are simply playing politics without recourse to what is the security implication of what we are trying to say or what we are trying to do. But it suffices to say that we have also found a way of putting, this concession to the south, southern part of Nigeria with regard to this presidency as being patriotic. Of course, we have to find a beautiful word and a very flowery, word for it, that we are being patriotic. And the question to ask is that, how did we suddenly become patriotic overnight? All the figures that we are talking about, that politics is all about number, democracy is all about number and all of that, and that we are going to throw it open. All of a sudden, we now say, look, let us, for purposes of equity, which is the argument of the South, let us allow the South to have it. In other words, there is something that is happening that we have not told the other people. So that is my understanding of it. And what I'm trying to do is to remove security concern from what people are doing now, what we are doing now in politics, either whether it is APC or PDP. Most politicians do not put those things into their calculation. They are talking about power play, horse trading, and whatever goes with it.
And Chijioke, let me jump in here, because listening to you, I think you've been able to situate it, by separating what again is at play here. But what readily comes to mind has to do with, a leadership that is prepared, a leadership that understands what the country is going through, and a leadership that also has a vision that can take the country to where it's meant to go. Now, quickly here, how can a system be entrenched in our democracy, a system as a conversation, a debate, a village square conversation that will mean that every politician should be able to come before the people and articulate his key objectives or his key vision and how to actualize same so that the people from political parties to the people can understand with ease who's had a well crystallized vision of national growth and development.
I can tell you that the moment we begin to do debate and begin to take on aspirants with regard to their vision, their program of action, and all of that, then we would have arrived at the destination of democracy that we have all sought to be. The reason is this: when politicians do rallies, they keep telling you what they plan to do, and oftentimes those things are the run-of-the-mill thing. We'll provide you with security, we'll give you electricity, we're going to give you a good education, we're going to give you health, and all of that. All of those things are things that you can take without without memorizing them. They are all there for you. But you see, during a debate, that is when you move from what you are going to do to how you are going to do it. And that is when you now begin to find out those who have a vision, those who are intelligent, those who have a roadmap and a program of action. And if somebody is unable to give his program of action, that is when you now find out that the person is just a hollow politician who is just riding on all of these details that I'm talking about: good health, good education, good roads, and all of that. Knowing that in a third world country like ours, you can even close your eyes and get to a campaign rally and tell them that I'm going to provide you good roads, because the people ordinarily will not have good roads. You tell them you are going to provide them water, because they do not have water. It is different from the kind of policies and the kind of campaigns you do in the globe countries, where people are talking about we are going to reduce your taxes or tax this category of people in order to allow these people have some good welfare. We are going to make sure that the senior citizens have their medication. Those who have suffered to build the country that we are enjoying today, this is what we are going to do. Those are things that when the campaign begins to get to that level. But you see, in a third world country like ours, a typical illiterate who happens to just buy himself a red cap, and he is probably seen as a politician, because there is no way, there is no place where people train to be politicians in Nigeria, other than once you attend a work meeting or any meeting at all and write down your number and give your phone number. The next time you will be called, you have become a politician. So there is nowhere somebody graduates into being a politician. For some people, it is a profession. For the rest of us, it's a vocation, something that we think we can use in moving society. In other words, the point I am making is here that people need to, aspirants need to be grilled by intelligent journalists like you people with regard to what they plan to do for the people. And not especially, I have met some people, a lot of people have risen in politics through me and all of that. We have existential problem. There's the security issue that is tearing on all of us, politicians and non-politicians alike. How do you want to tackle the problem? And quite a number of politicians, the ones that are smart, have even rolled out, their roadmap, with regard to what they want to do. But the rest of the people are probably saying, it is my turn. The rest of the people are saying, it is my zone. The rest of the people are saying, look, I am qualified. I have been suffering for this party. Why don't I just become the president? Those are things that are backwards as far as I'm concerned. And that is why, if you see the way I'm talking, I'm not talking like somebody who is so fanatical about any party. I am actually fanatical about whoever is going to move this country forward.
I don't mean to patronize you, George. I think you're one African, one Nigerian who's always spoken this way, and that is why it was deliberate having you we need an objective mind, to come speak to us here. Even if you are a member of any political party, we need an objective mind. So thank you for being that honest. And Nigeria is going through some very difficult moments and difficult time, as we've seen across political zones. Now, let's see if we can actually take this and stretch it further. The ruling party, which is your party, hasn't delivered on its campaign promise of making Nigeria a more secure nation. And these are some of the things Nigerians are holding against the All Progressives Congress. Now, what kind of candidate should your party be looking to electing today?
Well, it is a general way of looking at the political scenario now, especially because election is by the corner. And what happens when election is by the corner? Of course, you will very much run down whoever is on the saddle so that you can get a space to replace the person. It is probably not as bad as a number of people have want to put it, in the sense that the deterioration, we accept that, we admit that, it has been consistent. It's not like everything happened with the APC government. I was looking at a bank transaction that I had some 15 years ago or thereabout, and dollar was about I think about 120 or something like that. Something funny and all of that. And the banker who was going through the account chuckled along with me. Can you imagine? I think it was less than 100 though. So at that point in time, APC was not there. And you can find out that it has been gradually going up and all of that. And unfortunately for APC got in at the point in time when the thing was having a geometrical progression. And it kept going that way. And I'm not too sure, except we interrogate somebody who probably is one economic wizard or thereabout, that is likely going to have a nosedive of these, say for instance, dollar rate, say for instance, certain prices in the market, which will again depend on dollar rate and all of that. So in other words, I am not, for instance, excusing, the fact that things have gotten bad. But the point I am making is that it has been consistent. It's one of the things, I would hate to use the word inherited, it's one of the things that we met on ground and all of that. You may accuse us of not being able to arrest that drift, but that is what it is.
Well, I know this may be, stretching it, but again, I still want us to see if we can close on this. Categorically, I know this is politics, but again, qualities of leadership is very important here. And I also recall that you've also spoken on leadership recruitment process in Nigeria. If we can just, in a minute or so, let us in on what you expect to see in Nigeria going forward as we close the show.
You see, I would want to advise from the standpoint of the Malays. I call it Malays, and I do that advisedly. That we now experience a situation where we have dollarized our political system, such that people no longer vote according to their conscience. They vote according to the volume of money given to them. Yes, somebody was talking to me quite recently and said, look, why don't you just collect the money and vote your conscience? So like the kind of money that they are giving the delegates and all of that is not the kind of money the delegates will receive and still have conscience. There won't be any conscience. We are talking about millions of naira or tens of thousands of dollars and all of that. By the time any delegate collects it, he is most likely going to sell his conscience. So the point is that why don't we even find a system that will even stop that the issue of having to go to conventions with bullion vehicles, with bags of money and all of that. That is the simple arithmetic or the simple logic in it is that there is no way anybody can finish giving that volume of money and go to serve Nigeria without recouping his money on what we call in politics return on investment.
Well, I think, these are times that people, like you and others should be speaking to Nigerians and specifically talk to the conscience of those who are not on the page of the good Africans and good Nigerians, to fixing what the country would want to fix. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for being such nice company, George A.K. And of course, I would like to also thank retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Chijioke Nwobodo for being on the square. And thank you for watching.
My pleasure here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching VSA. I'm Sulaiman. Bye-bye.